Hello. It seems that as men we will come face to face with at least some form of hate at least once in our lives. However, hate as an emotion, it is immature and it is thoughtless. Hate by nature is an emotion that is never connected to understanding one's situation. I believe hate is born from one pure feeling inside a human being, and that feeling is disgust. You can recognize the look on people when you see them responding as if they have smelled a rotting corpse as soon as you walk into a room. You see it in the continuous dehumanizing language that they will use to describe you, as if you're not worthy of consideration or remorse. You can find it in the language used by the Nazis to describe the Jews. In any war between groups of people, the enemy is always worthless, subhuman, and may take the form of a smelly or a slithering animal, pig or a snake. We will describe those groups of people as the lowest of the low. Their eradication and death seems to be what we crave for. As if that death or their demise on a social level or scale will give us satisfaction or correct a certain imbalance in the universe. It seems almost natural. We divide ourselves in factions, political ideologies and theological stands, and we fight with each other. What seems to be lacking in a theoretical stance like that is understanding the position another person may be coming from. And that's where having an open mind comes in. Sure, there are positions that are hurtful, that are potentially damaging, and people who are dangerous to ourselves. Much has been said about the migrant crisis in Europe and how these people have the potential to ruin Europe as we know it. And the positions held by conservatives, I do understand them, and I believe, for the most part, that they're right, as they do ring a common sense in my ears. But the hate, it has no place. Even if the logic is strong behind the evidence provided to justify it, hate has no place. But I don't want to talk about hate in the context of the migrant crisis. I don't particularly have any opinion on it, as I'm away from my country, and of course I'm not a citizen in the UK, therefore my 2 cents on the issue don't really matter very much. What I do want to talk about is the hate within the context of the manosphere and how it is experienced both within the manosphere and by others outside it. How hate can come from people involved in the manosphere, both from within it and from outside, and how we in turn can be quite hateful towards others. You see, I come from a theoretical point of view, by which I believe that understanding is much more important than anything else that we can do. I believe understanding the point of view of others at least allows us to see how stupid most people are. It is quite an entertaining way to think about the world. And I find, in addition, that it helps us expend a lot less time in activities that do not cause us any emotional or physical distress. Therefore, you expend no energy other than the energy it takes to understand something. Hate is such a strong emotion and should be reserved for basically no one. You should fight your opponents and the people that hate you, of course, but I believe you have a much higher chance of winning by understanding their logic and hitting them with a dose of it. Sometimes you simply win by walking away and not fighting at all, thus expending absolutely zero amount of energy on the matter. MGTOW should have been just that with regards to the manosphere, and a lot of people seem to get it, but others not so much. Recently I was asked why I wasn't angry by someone commenting on the last video. Well, I don't really have any reason to be angry. Why would I be angry about something that I have no control over? What I can control, which is of course myself, I tend to control to the best of my abilities. What I think I should do to pass my mindset about how I see the world, I do. Therefore, I think I do try to do as much as I can against something that I believe strongly about. But an emotional investment about something I have no control over is not really my thing. It cannot be my thing, and I definitely do not want to pass on an idea that you should be so emotionally invested on something you believe strongly that you turn that energy into hate towards the opposing group. Hate is for weak minds, after all, and I hope we can agree that we want to evolve our minds into strong minds of understanding. But to get back to the point, I want to provide examples of what I think are the common hateful points that we come across in the manosphere that we seem to have to deal with. I want to do this to aid your understanding of them and to see how they're thinking about things at least. The best thing you can do, in my opinion, is look after your own skin. And if you want to do anything more, provide help and contribute to the cause of enlightening more men to the red pill way of thinking. We will start from the outsiders looking in, first of all. Feminists, especially male feminists, attack anything to do with the manosphere and the red pill. We represent, in essence, everything that they hate. We hold women accountable and use a type of language that is insensitive to their fragile little egos. That, combined with the fact that much of the red pill helps men to get laid and break away from their servitude towards the feminine, we have all of them shout together in one unified voice, misogyny. Doesn't matter that for the majority of the red pill, people are simply talking to each other and helping each other. Anything that inherently does not really take into account a female perspective is inherently misogynistic for those people. I mean, it goes without question that feminists in general will be our main enemies, especially when much of the men's rights movement is fighting against feminism. It's only logical to expect them to attack back. Therefore, I don't want to say much more about that. The general public looking in sees an old boys club using at times highly descriptive language to describe what they see, and it enforces a belief that the red pill is stuck in the Stone Age. Whereas from where I stand, I see it as a constantly evolving organism adapting to the social changes that occur. What we need to understand is that much of what the public stands for is, in essence, feminist dogma, which has become normalized in our society. That, along with the staple of human condition, which is gynocentrism, which I talked about in the previous video, which definitely also applies to men, makes for some very interesting results. In essence, these people do not understand women and do not understand how the sexual marketplace works. Additionally, they feel the need to protect these women, not for any sort of obligation that they might have for them personally, but it seems that for men, and much of the men that we tend to call manginas and white knights in the manosphere, that extends to all womankind. Women have the female collective, and any attack on an individual woman, whomever she might be, she will take it as an attack on the collective. Therefore, if I call one woman a whore, another woman, completely unrelated to her, will take offense in that. Now, the problem lies when men take offense together, because women stage protest or may act as tough as to throw a drink into someone's face, but with the support of male muscle, their power seems to increase. You see, men, manginas and white knights included here, would support the female collective as a whole, not their own individual women. There is almost a sense of pride while you're battering another man in defense of the honor of a woman that you have no knowledge of and no relationship with. This is a fundamental aspect of being a man. I think the gynocentric type of thinking is what we're born with as a response of taking care of the women who are related to us or our partners. The problem is that it extends to almost all female kind. We must be able to see that as modern men right now, that these women are not our women, and they can defend themselves. I understand defending a fellow human being from physical harm, but it seems to extend in all areas of life. I understand the predicament of the average idiot who thinks that by defending female honor online, that somehow that boosts his ego because he seems to have no other avenue to get any validation for himself. However, with guys who are what I would call cold dudes, you still see the same emotion exhibited, and defending female honor seems to be in a way their job. There seems to be no other rational explanation to this other than the fact that it's almost inborn in all men. You must be able to remember back in the day when you were like these people and understand the predicament of where they're coming from. As Barbarossa has put it, we're all recovering manginas. These people are what I would call some of the most hateful of the lot with regards to the blue pill world. Blue pill men with resources and male focus and strategy wanting to harm anyone who speaks against their women, their women who they don't sleep with and have no connection with to speak of. These are indeed sad people, and definitely not worthy of our thoughts or our hate, but they're definitely dangerous. However, the most hate in my experience comes from within. It comes from within the red pill world, the manosphere as we know it. We don't have to think very much but to see the arguments that have taken place between different factions and individuals. You only have to think about the AVFM and MGTOW or MGTOW and the MRAs, PUA and the red pill, MGTOW and PUA, MRAs and PUAs. There are even quite personal arguments that take place with obvious hate and character assassination, which you would not know is just that because you have not been personally involved in any of them. I have, and trust me, it does take place. The doxing of Barbarossa and Stardust by Aaron Clary, threats of doxing that take place behind the scenes. These things are happening all the time, and they're happening within the manosphere. Is it because people are looking to get their piece of the pie? Is it perhaps because of disagreements or different characters that this takes place, or is it because when you put a lot of men with strong beliefs together, they're bound to disagree? The manosphere is the last remaining space where men can truly say what they mean. When that happens, people will attack and scrutinize their opinions, and that is absolutely fine as it leads to growth. But men being men, and being competitive and violent, they take such things personally. When it comes to the manosphere and these arguments, the doxing, the destruction of people's livelihoods, then you must understand that these people do not see the good of men first. And that's what hate does. It clouds your judgment and reprioritizes your goals. The message gets lost, factions occur, and people have to pick sides. It's sad, but in essence, it's all male nature playing up in ways that we can almost predict. Even when that happens to you personally, there is no reason to hate. You're here to learn and to transcend your old self into a new, calm, motivated, and content person. That's your end goal, so keep that as a focus. Hate is a useless emotion. It is not like anger, although it is almost exclusively built by it, as it does not focus your actions towards improving your situation, but rather focuses your actions towards destroying or harming someone else. How can people in the manosphere, who are here supposedly to help other men, try to destroy other men? It is difficult at times when you have personally been damaged, had your name or reputation attacked, to not start to shift your focus into hate. But it is nothing but wasted energy, and at the end, if you succeed, all you have done is hurt another man. Thank you very much for listening.